All right, so this is for Lokmen Ben Hmida, and if I murdered your name, I do apologize. So the first thing I would say right off the bat is before you start all of this stuff, you really want to sit down and get down the form first, and I think the form is really what you need to kind of work on, and part of that's the anatomy, but I think a big thing is the form here. So the first thing I would do is start by building out, kind of your face element, right? And so you build out your jawline, and even though it's a kind of a distorted character, you're still kind of blocking out that idea of that character like so. And with that character twisted like this, um, you have to realize that the neck is going to actually push that head above there. Even if your head is downward a little bit more, you're still kind of pushing that neck forward, and so you really want to pay attention to that scale. And I know you're trying to distort the image, but the issue is I think the anatomy itself is kind of a little bit off. And so with that in mind, you want to really definitely kind of identify where things are. And so you can see here I'm just blocking out a base shape, putting this character up a little bit more with the head, and then kind of giving it a neck to kind of go for. And even if he's tilting his head and putting the neck down here, you can kind of build that up. And then we want to build out the kind of rib cage idea. And I think the issue is if you're building out your rib cage, even with this strong distortion, you still kind of are adjusting things according to shape and form. And so you can see here, as I build out the rib cage and build out kind of the pelvis area here, I'm still blocking out my base shapes. And then if you're going to distort this shoulder comes down into pectoral here, and you've got your collarbone up here, and then this is where your collarbone actually kind of connects over here. So this is a little bit too high. And I realize you're trying to do the foreshortening, and you've got a good process going on, but again, break down those basic form shapes so you can get kind of that emphasis of thick and thin and where the line work is. And then from there you can see here that the forearm now takes precedence, and you're kind of just building that up as far as how that needs to be kind of created. Okay, and so that's one of the things that you need to kind of do, and you're doing the reverse here is you're going backwards with the foreshortening. So with the pectoral muscles like they are, this foreshortening would be a lot smaller. Okay, and so you're kind of basically building out a smaller angle right there because of the distortion there. And so again, I'm just kind of crunching up my abs, and then here is where you kind of lack the foreshortening. Like, I understand what you're trying to do, but if you're doing this knee is going to come forward like so, and I'm going to kind of force that perspective on there. And then this is going to come backwards and be hidden in like this. And so you can see here, I'm really kind of forcing that foot downward like it is. And then you'd have your Q-toe like so, okay? And then this over here, because you're going kind of at a straight angle, think about anatomy too, because this would be something along the lines of like this. It's not distorted because it's not going back in space, and then that is kind of the aspect that you're looking for. And then twisting the foot here, the foot is twisted awkwardly because of the way the knee is twisted. And so this would be more of a straight format foot. Okay, and then I'm going to just block in the hands. And then this hand needs a lot more work. Even if it's a two-fingered hand, you are not really understanding how the hand goes. So if you're trying to put this away from the face, or towards the camera, or away from the camera. So if this is the way you've got it, so if this is his thumb here, you've actually got this facing the camera, and so it would actually be kind of twisted, okay? And so you're going to need to show that twist in your form here. And so that is one aspect that you need to work on. And then the other aspect here is, block out the basic shapes. Okay, so if you've got the hand coming like so, and then you're going to kind of give the quarter, give the thumb out like so, that thumb isn't going to go straight up and down like this. It's probably going to go a little bit forward, so you're going to have to kind of push this angle up here a little bit more. Oops. You push this angle up here a little bit more, and then come out like so. And then this is where your other fingers kind of get that perspective on. So, if you're angling your hand, you're going to angle that hand a little bit. It really depends on how you want to angle that. But, you need to kind of understand that mentality of angles and proportions. The other aspect now, so once we've got this going on, the other aspect is once you've built up your anatomy and your character, you need to work on your form. And so the form is really kind of important, and the form reacts to light. And so you've got this super strong light source right here. And the problem with it is the light source isn't reflecting on the character. In all reality, with a light source this strong, I would see very little of this character. And so what I would do is almost, oops, let's do that. Let's lasso this in here. So if I'm going to do this character like so, and I have this super strong light source coming like though, I'm going to actually dissipate a lot of this information here. You're not going to see it because that character is kind of falling in that spot. And then with such a strong light source, you're going to have reflections on all your base sources underneath. You're going to have definite highlights on where things are pulling from. And so here, this highlight doesn't make any sense because in all reality, what you should be doing is something along the lines of, let me get rid of my pressure sensitivity real quick. And so in all reality, you would be kind of creating a real highlight, a real forced highlight on the edge here like this. And then you would also get highlights underneath where the pectoral muscles happen like so. And then you would get, so you'd get a lot of like additional highlights kind of where that light source is. And the best thing I can tell you to do for something like that is to honestly just, start kind of building up your shapes and giving you an idea of where those shapes are. So you can see here, I'm putting some light sources on the bottom, underneath the eyes, and things like that. But the other aspect of this is from a color standpoint, you're going to fade out with this strong of light. You're going to fade out this whole kind of canvas. And so that's something that you don't want to do. You want to use the light and the dark to kind of balance each other out. So if you look at this from a black and white standpoint, you can see that it reads okay to some extent because you have the white contrasting the black and then the form contrasting everything. And so that's okay, but you want to have something that kind of re-emphasizes your kind of idea. If you're going to drop this character or this character is jumping out, I don't know which one it is, then you want to have a nice strong edge on hard surfaces. So hard edges like this, just adding in that dark hard edge, and then even adding in kind of the idea of roughness and the idea of kind of process underneath it, that's going to kind of emphasize your stuff. And then again, using a hard edge down here to define where this you know, like if the brick has got overhang, you can now see that this brick has got overhang. It's not like it's not like it's trying to curl around there. And so you really want to understand that light source. And to do this, I would tell you to get a maquette or a mannequin or something like that, or even a clay figure and kind of rough that out. So those are the things that I would tell you to work on. And start with the foundation stuff first, all right?